Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Aven, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association in BC. His website, icba.ca. Welcome back to the show, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Jordan, the BC government said it had $300 million sitting on a shelf somewhere, I guess, to help out the small businesses devastated by the COVID lockdowns and restrictions. How's that program going?
Oh, it's a bit of a disaster, to be honest. You know, way back when, before the election, if you can kind of cast your mind back to late summer, very early fall 2020, the NDP government under John Horgan announced a $300 million fund for small and medium-sized businesses. They could get grants of up to $30,000. If you're in tourism, you could get up to $45,000. Get these funds and help you limp your way through this COVID recession. And then he called an election, and work on that program ground to a halt. And for 6 or 7 weeks, nothing happened. Then they unveiled the criteria for this grant, and you know, Jim, it's like a ride at Playland. They made the turnstile so narrow that no one could squeeze through and get onto the ride and get the money. And it was so bad that the new minister actually had to change the criteria when Ravi Kahlon took over, and still hardly any money was given out. So we found out in the House this week, the legislature's sitting, that of the $300 million, they've given out $45 million in grants. Unfortunately, on March 31st, that money expires, and by law, will go to paying down the debt. Now, paying down the debt, always a good thing, and certainly there's a lot of debt to pay down in Canada and British Columbia this year. But, you know, this money was meant for small businesses, and instead, you know, it's being used for other things. So, that is problematic. You know, adding further complications to try to get some sort of pickup on this, they actually went and basically said they would pay accountants a couple $1,000s a piece per application to try to generate applications for small businesses. So think about that for a minute, Jim. It's so complicated that you actually have to hire an accountant in order to fill out the application you need to do it. They've spent $31 million on trying to drum up business for this $300 million fund. $31 million to give away $45 million. You know, I don't know how you can say anything except that this has been an absolute flop.
Well, obviously these businesses are still in dire straits. Any chances that you've heard that they're going to extend it beyond the 31st?
Well, they may unveil a new program in the April 20th BC budget that's planned. By the way, 420 for a BC budget. Probably an interesting choice of dates. But they cannot, under the law, they cannot actually extend this $300 million past the March 31st date. It does automatically go to pay down debt. So that's a big problem for them, and something that they'll have to get their heads around.
How serious has the impact been on small and medium-sized businesses, the ones that provide the most jobs in the country?
Oh, it's been bad. You know, we talk about the tourism industry. It's absolutely on its knees. Look, just walk around any neighborhood, any little commercial center, any shopping mall, and you see all of these papered over windows, businesses that have disappeared. You know, and it's not even just small businesses, right? Like Starbucks has closed 300 shops across the country. Well, Starbucks is by no means a small business, but you know, here in Metrotown, there's 2 closed Starbucks within a stone's throw of where we are. Those were people who worked. Like, they had good jobs. You know, they thought they were building a future for themselves, and instead they're out of work. So, Yeah, it's been very bad. CFIB, Canadian Federation of Independent Business, has been charting how many businesses have gone under and how many are just holding on by their fingernails. And, it's a shocking number. And once we do finally get back to quote-unquote normal life, I think we'll find ourselves a lot poorer for the lack of services and small businesses and entrepreneurs and small shops that have since disappeared.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, according to the real estate industry, there's a shortage of homes for them to sell. People want to move out of tiny apartments and into real houses because so many people are going to be working from home now. Have you been able to supply those homes, or do you expect to be able to supply those houses?
No, we're seeing a big lack of supply now, driving up housing costs. So you're right. It's very much a seller's market. And there's a few reasons for that. And there's a few interesting points to make. For a long time, skeptics of the Lower Mainland housing situation would point to, foreign buyers buying up huge plots of or huge numbers of condos. They'd point to, satellite families, all these different overseas boogeymen that they would trot out as the reason why we pay more for housing here. But they would refuse to realize the most important thing about it, a lack of supply in the region. And, for a region that's expecting or in the process of adding 1 million people over 30 years or 40 years, depending on, which Metro Vancouver projection you want to go with, you have to build more housing for those people. And we've been slow about it. It takes forever to get building permits. It takes forever to get approvals. You have NIMBYs that you have to deal with. And then we're finding that, where the housing prices are really going crazy are in single-family homes. And frankly, Jim, we haven't been building a lot of single-family homes in recent years. If you're in a single-family home now, you're on a bit of a gold mine simply because we don't make a lot of them. Even in Langley, where I live, suburban Langley, very few of the housing starts, shockingly few of the housing starts, are single-family homes. The vast majority are condos, townhouses. You think of Vancouver, it's almost all condos. You go to Burnaby, where you see 3 huge population centers growing, Brentwood, Metrotown, and the city of Lougheed, as they call it, all of them condos. So there isn't the kind of mix of housing either. So, if you have kind of thinking in your mind's eye that you live in Cloverdale or in Langley and you have that, a little bit of lots and a single family home, you really are sitting on a bit of a gold mine because they simply aren't making any more of those like they used to. And you're right. Patterns now have changed. People expect to work from home more often. Even, when offices open up, I think most people now will plan to work from home a day or two a week if they have that flexibility. That's going to create different kind of pressures as far as what you need. I think people have realized that, the parks in the very high urban areas, have, some of them have, gotten a little bit seedy. There's been encampments in a few of them. There's been, some crime issues in a few of them. And so those, people there are like, well, I used to rely on the park as sort of my recreation space. Maybe it'd be nice to have my own yard. You're seeing a big migration, and I'm not sure that policymakers have gotten their head around it, but if there's one thing we would recommend from ICBA, it's get more supply out there, start approving developments, and let's start building so that we can house the future of the region.
I remember the provincial government in BC a year or two ago predicting that housing starts would go down. Is it their fault? Is it a lack of land, or is it because it just takes so long to get approval to get projects up and going?
I think it's a little of all that. I think part of it too is, we're in a fiscally, dangerous time. Banks aren't terribly keen to lend money, even to developers. They're waiting to see what the economy does. But honestly, the biggest factor are city halls. And not every city hall. Some city halls go faster than others. Vancouver is excruciatingly slow. It is not uncommon for the proposal to get approved, to go through all the legislative channels and all the hoops they put out, it is not uncommon for that to take longer than to actually build the giant building project, right? It's so slow. There's a great study by the World Bank that compares OECD countries on a number of different metrics. And Canada ranks in like 55th or 58th for speed on building permits. And this is of the, countries that are our competitors for talent, for investment. You're that far down the list, and I would reckon that it's even worse in British Columbia and in Vancouver specifically. No wonder things are so expensive. We're not meeting the demand. More people are moving here because we're attractive. We have a very constrained land base because of the ALR, the border, and the ocean. All these things start to add up. And I know that on Reddit and, and Twitter, you see the real estate bubble people and, the bubble's going to burst, just wait, the bubble's going to burst. If you've been waiting for the bubble to burst since 2009, 2010, you've missed out on, maybe your best opportunity to get into the market because all of those homes have gone up in price and in value and, you've kind of sat on the sidelines.
Is it true maybe Nelson, BC is one of the few cities in the province that is kind of speedy with building permits?
I'm not sure about Nelson specifically, but generally smaller communities are. The city of Langley is renowned for how quick it approves. Surrey used to be very good, but has since bogged down. So that's a bit of a concern there for a number of builders. The worst offenders are generally the North Shore municipalities. They are terribly slow. I believe it's West Vancouver has only approved one development in the 2.5 years council has been sitting. There's a lot of room for improvement here. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of frustration from the NDP government. And look, I'm not one to defend the NDP, but, I noticed that David Eby went after the city of Penticton over a decision that council made around housing for the homeless in their community. Senior levels of government should be frustrated with municipalities over how slow things are in getting housing approved. The NDP should be leaning on mayors, using, various means, whether it's grants or other things, to push them to approve new housing. Like, the only way to bring down housing prices, or to steady them, is to go out there and build enough that people can get into them. When you're a young family, or any age family, and you want to, put a bid in an offer on a house, we're back to those days where houses list on Tuesday, they have a showing on Friday, and they start accepting offers Saturday. And, if you're not way over the asking price, you're not going to have a shot at it because the demand is so strong. You're seeing, 15, 20 offers on homes again. That's a sign you're not building enough.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Aven Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aven's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avenresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, how is the construction business doing through the COVID crisis?
We're coming back pretty strong here. So in 2020, we estimate about a 15% drop in the construction business. We were expecting another 5% drop this year, but we're actually seeing a little bit stronger numbers than we expected, with one caveat. Some of the work on the major infrastructure projects, Site C Dam, Coastal GasLink, LNG Canada, the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, they were very much slowed down by provincial health orders coming out of Christmas, where they allowed very few workers to be on those sites. Now, that's starting to loosen up again. In fact, LNG Canada is doing rapid testing of their workers. They're starting to scale back up. So that will actually help as well, help boost worker numbers here. But yeah, it's surprisingly strong. And look, if you need a job, if you're willing to work, there is a job in construction for you. The industry is desperate for more talent, more folks to come in and work in a variety of the trades.
What's the job demand or employers' demand for new workers in construction?
Yeah, it's very high. It depends trade to trade. We surveyed our glazing companies recently, and 100% of them said they needed more glaziers. So we're working on some training around that. Carpenters always in demand, drywall finishers always in demand, pipe fitters, plumbers. There's a plumbing company we're aware of, member of our board actually, and they've been searching for plumbers for a couple of years now and can't seem to find enough to fill out what they got to do. So there's absolutely opportunity in the construction industry. icba.ca/jobs. You can go there. You can upload a resume. We forward it on to companies, members of ours who are interested in hiring. Lots and lots of opportunity to get into the trades.
Jordan, thank you so much for chatting with us. Oh, if people are interested in seeking employment in the construction business, is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, icba.ca/jobs for all that.
My guest has been Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association. As he said, his website, icba.ca. Maybe your job is waiting for you right there. If you have any questions for Jordan or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @TalkDigitalNet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of Howe Street Media Incorporated.